Okay, so I've just arrived at Wellington riding. Of course, it's the regionals, and we've got some exciting clients here. We've had some great results with our clients here as well. But today I'm not here to see the riding, although I'm going to enjoy watching the freestyle this morning because I think it's the medium and the advanced medium silver today. I am here to meet someone very special, a good friend of mine, List 1 judge Leanne Wall. So let's go and have a look at the facilities and we'll have a chat with her in a minute. I mean, just look at this place. Isn't it absolutely stunning? Always love coming to Wellington. We're not going to mess about. We're just going to get straight into it.
Okay.
So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with a really good friend of mine, actually, and has been a massive mentor and help. This is List 1 judge Leanne Wall. I'm not joking. I mean, if we've got a judging question, I'm a nightmare, aren't I?
Yeah, you just message. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's always so helpful. And she's one of the good guys, always in support of young riders. I've seen her coaching at BD youth events, and it's just brilliant. It's a breath of fresh air. So I've asked her, in her busy schedule here at Wellington Regionals, if she could come along and have a little chat with me. And of course, she reluctantly said yes.
It wasn't reluctantly.
Well, she's been looking through my questions going,
I would have liked a little bit of warning as to what was going to be asked, so it would just be ad hoc as we go with the flow.
Isn't that our normal conversation?
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a normal conversation.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you've been doing this for a while now.
A long time.
When did you start?
I became a judge when I was about 18 or 19 years old. Marianne Horn was helping me towards my BHS exams, and she suggested that I got into judging to help further my knowledge and my education, and that's how it all started. And Marianne stuck by me and mentored me all the way up through the levels. And then I got to List 3 and I thought that's my lot. So I sat on that for quite some years, and then one thing and another, I then upgraded and then did another little upgrade and then another little upgrade, and now I've been List 1 for over 10 years.
Over 10 years?
Yeah.
That is incredible. So, I mean, are you List 1, do you do FEI competitions as well abroad and things, or?
No, you've got to be a FEI judge to do that. So no, I'm just. Is
it something you want to do?
Yeah, it's going to take me a good few years to train for it. Yeah. I'm going to go to Leah at the end of this week and practice judge the 3-star and 4-star Grand Prix, and I'm just going to get myself overseas a fair bit, get my eye in, and learn from as many different people that are willing to help me as they possibly can.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I'll take my time. I'm not going to just do it. It will take me, probably 3-4 years. And I've got to feel I will never take the plunge for anything until I feel confident and ready. And when I feel ready and confident, then I'll do it. But I won't do it until then.
That is superb. Now, judging itself, obviously sometimes gets a bit of a bad rap, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this judge series, is so that people can relate the face, because they don't see you behind the glass, do they? All they see is a writer scribbling away, and then, sometimes there can be a little bit of lack of communication, but you're really good at your feedback with your writing bits. How important is the feedback on a test sheet?
I think certainly I always encourage other judges to try and explain to the riders what they want more of. To make things better, because I think that reads far more positively and developmental for them, and it's more helpful for the rider. I also think that it's equally important for the rider to remember that it's never a personal thing. It's not that we don't like them, we don't know them. So I think they almost need to look at the judge as being their critical friend. We all miss things, we all get things wrong. I absolutely, I sit there, I have a 6-leaf clover that I have beside me so that I help, I don't miss anything. And I always try and be on the side of the horse and the rider, because it's not easy.
It's really
and as a judge, you have to remember, horses are horses. They do become tense, they do blow up, mistakes happen. But I always try and find the marks when I can. And if I've not giving somebody enough points and I'm on a panel, I always drive home worrying about the one that I haven't given quite enough points to, as opposed to one that I've maybe given a few too many points to.
That's going to be one of the hardest things as well. I mean, if you're judging like today, where you've got 3 judges, you're always worried about how your marks will stack up against the other 2, I guess?
Yes and no. You judge what you see.
Right.
And you have to believe in yourself, believe in your training, and believe in your gut instinct. And then, unfortunately, the marks are the marks. So we always hope that they're together, but, you know, when you're sat on the side, I can remember here a couple of years ago, there was a lovely, lovely chestnut horse in a medium or advanced medium gold, and I was on the side, and it had cadence, it had elasticity, it was forward, the aids were invisible. It was a lovely, harmonious picture. And then afterwards I looked, I was like, oh my life, I'm 20 marks higher. And the front 2 judges just went, but Leanne, it didn't bend. And I just thought, well, I couldn't see that from where I was, and I couldn't.
Well, that's what my next question was, actually. E, C and H in the regionals. I mean, everyone sees a totally different picture.
Yeah.
So explain that from the judge's brain.
Well, I mean, like, certainly your entry and halt, that's your absolute classic. So today I was at C. If they were, you know, super straight, prompt in and prompt out, and good to the contact and a nice balance, I'd find the marks. But, you know, there's been many a time when I've been on the side and the front judges have gone high, and I'm like, well, actually, it's resting a back leg and I can see his tongue poking out the side, so therefore I'm down on a 5, and they can't see that.
As simple as that?
As simple as that. So we all have our areas to police,
sure.
And that is your job, and that is why there is different judges dotted around the arena so that all bases are covered. There's nowhere to hide.
Now you heard it here. But you can't hide that simple change just against the judges.
No, because it could be, say it's off 2 half-10s, it could be super straight with an irregular walk, and the judge at C would just be commenting on the, you know, is it straight, is it at the right place, you know, is it straight, is it fluent, is it on the aids, whereas the judge on the side could be like, well, that's completely lateral in the walk, that's a bit expensive, you know, and so, and again, tongues out, you know, on the side, you can often see that a lot more. The balance you can often see much clearer from the side, whether the horse is truly, you know, one of the best ways of being able to really assess the suppleness over the top line is in medium and extended paces, so being able to see the horse working over its top line again, that's much more visible from the side.
That is super helpful, and I'm sure everyone's watching is going to agree. This is stuff that they really need to hear.
And if there are marked differences, like I said, you know, the judges, you know, the judge training, it gets sold out, and there's so much judge training going on. We all do our absolute utmost best to try and do the right thing by the horse and the rider. But at the end of the day, you will always have differences, because the bottom line is it's just our opinion.
Sure.
And if you don't like the judge's opinion, you don't like it. But they haven't done it to be malicious or anything like that. That's just what they thought, and that's just what they saw. And equally, if every judge wanted to give the same mark, they'd have robots judging it.
It'd be all VAR, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Which, you know, there have been, you know, some, you'd be into this, technology's playing a part where, you know, some judges have been made to wear goggles, and it's zoomed into what part of the horse they look at more than the other. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love all that.
Really clever. Yeah, really, really clever. Like, are they drawn to the hind leg? Are they drawn to the, you know, where is their eye drawn to first in each movement? And I think that's fascinating. I mean, that could teach me a lot if I got the opportunity to do it.
I think technology is so much more affordable and usable these days, and user-friendly, that it could play a part actually in improving the sport.
Yeah, it's brilliant when it
works.
works.
From the human judging element.
But it's a disaster when it crashes.
Oh, like CDs in music.
Yeah, like CDs in music.
Which should never be used. You know our feeling on
I don't know the difference in it. I don't even know what an MP3 player is.
The CD is a gramophone, basically. You may as well have a gramophone on the side of the arena playing your music.
Okay.
It's going to skip, it's going to scratch, it's going to go wrong.
I'll leave that department to you.
Oh, I've got
as long as it plays.
Everyone knows I've got it covered.
And then I know if it breaks, you know, I know that, well, the rider just waits, we start again. They're allowed to go through all the rest of it.
Or you do what Anna Ross did in an international and just sing your way through the second half of the test and still score well. That was hilarious. Right, but talking about music, so obviously music's what we do. I can only watch so much straight dressage before I fall asleep, and everyone knows that. I love freestyle music, and that's why we do what we do. That, I think, must be incredibly hard to judge. I mean, I was talking to Claire Dietrich last week about this, and she's like, well, yeah, because there's so much to take into consideration at the same time.
Oh, there's a lot.
Especially if you're the only judge.
If you are the only judge, there's a lot. And like I said, you always give the rider the benefit of the doubt. More recently, I've done a lot of panel freestyle judging. I've been very lucky. I've had some wonderful classes to have the opportunity to judge, and I'll always be grateful for those. But yes, you need your wits about you, absolutely. And you need a really good writer that you can trust, because obviously to get to this level, I have written for more judges and more classes than I think I've judged, but I learnt a lot doing it. So, you know, I can remember, I think Hicks did in one of the old days, it was the International, I was writing in the paper. I can remember I wrote all the canter marks and comments in the trot marks and comments all the other way around, and it was like, oh my God, oh my God.
What did you do, just alter it all?
No, because I recognised it. Right. So I did recognise my fault, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
And then you hold the sheet, and then if there's a delay, normally you hold the sheet to rewrite it. So I recognised it, I just had to resync it. But I don't know how easy that would be for people to do on the computers, but it was recognisable. So then from there I was like, right, what can I do? Because it starts with the walk at the top of the sheet, and then it goes to the trot, I think, and then the canter, and then the halt at the end, and the piaffe and passage are dotted in the middle. And so I drew a little line on the sheets right the way to the end, and we put canter, trot, so it was much easier for my eye to quickly see. Yeah.
I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
Because of course you don't know what order it's coming out in.
No.
You don't know well, with the FEI levels now, the Grand Prix are submitted in advance, so at least they've got half a chance of
only for the World Cups.
Only for the World Cups?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was international CDIs.
Not the normal.
Well, that's good news for my clients, because it's a pain in the ass to put it in.
Yeah, so at Excel, that's the only place that I write at, where we have their pre-program, and of course we have their pre-program, and I'd like to say they all stick to it, but believe you me, they don't always all stick to it, and that's when it becomes a little bit complicated.
It's there to help the judges, isn't it? So they can sort of know the combinations are coming in.
Yeah, and for the degree of difficulty mark, because that's automatically calculated through their routine. So, you know, say, a line of one-time tempies into a double canter pirouette is going to be much harder than, a nice casual line up to it and a little bit of a canter pirouette.
So they got technical now. I mean, really technical.
They are really, really technical. They are sit up and pay attention, judge, because I'm coming at you. And that judge needs to be on it. That you've got to be sharp, you've got to be willing, and you've got to be quick and instinctive. And you've got to keep up.
I'm hyper-focused, which is why you like your coffee.
Well, like I said, I don't drink coffee when I judge, because I'm always worried I need the loo. So sometimes, I'm fine up to about horse 27, and then I'll start sipping Red Bull, because then I don't need the loo. But it keeps me sharp.
It doesn't just give you wings, folks.
It keeps me sharp.
Super judge skills.
It keeps me sharp.
Oh, I love that story.
So that's, I think, why it's set. But I've judged Grand Prix freestyle at the Nationals, and I can remember my writer goes to me, no canter half pass, and I was like, what? Luckily I wasn't at sea. And then I'm looking at the judge opposite me, and they're going, and we're like, it's not just us that didn't see the canter half
pass.
Both didn't do both canter half passes.
Wow.
So even at the top level, it is really, really important when you design your freestyles to go 15 metre circle left, 15 metre circle right, shoulder in left, shoulder in right. Like you absolutely do when I do floor plans for people, I'm like, I will say 15 metre circle left, this right. So we know we have covered
and also
everything.
You prefer symmetry, obviously, so
I like
you know
symmetry.
What's happening, and you can go, right, I've seen that half,
Yeah.
I now can predict what's coming up next.
Exactly. You want the feeling that you're understanding the story and the flow of the floor plan.
I don't ride, right? I've got an interesting story for you. So I watch a lot of freestyle, obviously, probably more than anyone actually.
Yeah, because you're watching them and then put music to them.
So I play a little game with myself. We mark out the freestyle on the timeline when I'm just about to edit it all. So I've got the video and I mark out the points of what's happening. And I try and act like the judge and predict what's coming up next. And I'm getting it mostly right now.
That's good.
I know when they're setting up from a corner into something lateral. I know when they're getting ready to go into an extended.
Is that where you turn the music up a bit and bring a few highlights into the music?
Fireworks.
Fireworks.
Yeah, you know.
A few little chimey
all
things.
The jazzy things.
Ding-ling-ling.
No, I don't use
And then
bells.
a bit of humming for a canter pirro or a simple
I've never used a chiming bell on a pirro. It's not my style. That's someone else, that is.
I don't know. all I know is, I think from a rider's perspective, we as judges, unless you're doing a World Cup, we don't know your floor plan.
Yeah.
So what's important is that you change pace at the time the music changes.
Yeah.
That's really, really key. And you know where your highlights are. Yes, we want the feeling that you're telling a story, but we do want highlights to the music. And it becomes, you know, you will have your own individual subtle cues that people like Tony will put in, say, are you ready? Are you at this place? It's coming up in a minute. And if not, you better chop the corner off a bit, you know.
Exactly.
But we do not know your floor plan. Only you do. And therefore, you've got to adapt it so that, and forget you've got letters. Forget letters.
Did you see the video that Kels did? We were doing the National Convention demo with Becky Moody and Kelly, and she did a run through of a medium test on our gelding with her mic on and explained at every point within it where she had to change the test to fit the transitions and the expressions.
Yeah, and that's because she would have known her music inside out, backwards, upside down, and it's not whether we like the music. We're not allowed any preference as a judge regarding the music. And I can remember many years ago there was a lovely girl called Holly Colgate Hardaway, now Holly Cook.
Yeah.
And I think I saw her in training and I was blown away. She had a lovely horse, not a world beater, just a really nice horse, which she had a really nice partnership, and watched the floor plan and I was like, yeah, you pull that off really, really well. It's quite simple, medium level, so yeah, you've got your degree of difficulty, but what she did was exactly really, in my mind, what it should be. Dressage first, dressage to the music.
Make it fit, most important
So quality dressage, and then the music, when it's done well, brings a whole new dimension. And when she rode it to the music, I was absolutely blown away. The music elevated the whole kit and caboodle, and then she went to the regional, she won the regional, she went to the nationals and she won the nationals, which was really lovely because it was a normal combination against some mega horses, but the whole thing was so harmonious and the music worked super well, and she always said to me she adored her music because her mum rode to that music and it was Glenn Miller. But the whole feeling of emotion carried through, and that is what won her that title. It was so well done. And so dressage, quality dressage first, music to elevate and enlighten.
It's the overall picture, isn't it?
It sprinkles fairy dust over the top of absolutely everything.
Horses and music fit so well together.
And it makes us smile. And I'm not musical, so I look for one hoof and one beat.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I can see that one hoof and one beat, I'm like, well, it's in time.
It's fixed. Yeah, exactly. We don't expect everyone to understand everything about the musical aspects of it, but if the picture, the overall picture feels, looks and sounds amazing, that's when the hairs stand up on end.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
when you know they got it right.
I can remember I had a very musical writer. I judged the PSG Gala evening here a couple of years ago. And I was at sea, and I can remember I've written for that class a few times, and it's often quite difficult on the horses and riders because the riders come down the entrance to the arena and they see, 200, 250 people on the bank, so they start spooking, they start looking, they're backing off. So as a judge, about to sit at sea, I'm like, oh my God, how long before they enter? How long is? And you've got to be really, because I was so expecting them all to be a little bit on edge, but luckily my class was brilliant and all the horses coped great. But my writer was very, very musical. And she goes, well, the monotones, the octaves, and started throwing all these musical words at me. And I was like, I've got no idea what you're going on about. I do not know. But all I know is the music suited and enhanced the horse really well and brought so much to the table, and it was perfectly in time with the horse's footfalls.
Oh, I think we've got some results coming out. So shall we wrap that up there? Thank you so much for coming and talking to me and taking this time, and I'm sure everyone will thank you too. So thank you, Leanne.
Thank you for having
Everyone's
me.
clapping Leanne now. You take care and have a safe journey.
Yeah.